Breakfast, sponsored by Matex Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Well, good evening to you. We had some rain around this morning, but you can see sunshine starting to show up, especially north of I-74 and I-72. That's Danville. It's kind of been on the line. If you look to the north, you've got blue skies. If you look to the south, you've got more clouds and rain showing up across the area. Take a look at what to expect here as we go throughout the course of tonight. These clouds are going to be leaving us. The rain that has been down closer to I-70 begins to leave us as well, but a few showers are still showing up into portions of Edgar County, Paris. You guys are kind of wet here this evening and down around Effingham. And all of this begins to clear and the temperatures begin to cool. Still 57 in Champaign, but we're going to see temperatures continuing to fall off as we go throughout tonight with readings down into the 40s. We'll come back and talk about the changes for the weekend. WCIA 3 News starts right now.
Now on WCIA 3 News.
On this day last year, COVID-19 was declared a worldwide pandemic. We're going to look back at the impact it's had on central Illinois. Plus, the state is loosening up COVID restrictions on schools, while you might not see changes in your child's classroom just yet.
And people in one community say they're paying more for their water, why they claim the quality of that water doesn't reflect the price.
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 5.
Really, it feels like 20 years.
But it's been 1 year since the World Health Organization declared COVID-19 a global pandemic. Good evening, I'm Paul Cicchini.
And I'm Jennifer Roscoe. The official public announcement was made on this day last year. No one could have imagined how our lives would change. WCIA 3's Karina Rubio reflected with city leaders about the past 12 months and with families who have lost so much.
COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
The world heard those words for the first time on March 11th, 2020. Back then, there were 118,000 confirmed cases and a little more than 4,000 deaths worldwide. Fast forward to now, COVID-19 has killed about 23,000 Illinoisans, including 131 people in Champaign County. CUPHD's Julie Pride says she knew even before March that COVID-19 would become a pandemic.
What I couldn't have predicted was the way everything was politicized and people were basically putting themselves and their families at risk due to misinformation.
She says that's partly why we're still here a year later. But on a positive note, Pride says she never would have thought vaccine to develop and distribute so quickly.
We have seen the best of people coming out and helping others who are struggling.
From scientists to doctors to community leaders, people have united. But that said, Pride says we can't forget the lives lost, particularly at the peak in fall and winter.
We had a lot of hospitalizations and a lot of deaths, and it was a very dark period.
That included 21-year-old Carl Hospital security officer Bryant Boyer. He was asthmatic and died unexpectedly from the virus.
Disbelief and shock, but also the feeling of it being very unfair. The normal grieving isn't there. You can't hug your loved ones at the funeral. You can't, join together afterwards and even hug.
Boyer's aunt says he and other lives gone too soon are more than just a statistic.
The youngest person who passed from COVID in Champaign County, he's still very loved, and it's one of the reasons we keep trying to tell people to be safe, to wear masks.
In Champaign County, Karina Rubio, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
Now, more help is on the way for people impacted by the pandemic. President Biden signed his $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan into law this afternoon. The package includes $1,400 stimulus checks for a majority of Americans, as well as support for a national vaccination program and money for schools to reopen.
Historic legislation is about rebuilding the backbone of this country and giving people in this nation, working people, middle-class folks, people who built the country, a fighting chance.
Now, the president will mark the one-year anniversary by remembering nearly 530,000 American lives lost and looking ahead to the future. He'll deliver his first primetime address to the nation since taking office. That'll start tonight at 7. Now here's a look at today's COVID numbers statewide. The positivity rate continues its slow drop. It is now at 2.5%. The state reporting 1,700 new cases in the last 24 hours. 55 more people have died. When it comes to vaccination rates, more than 3.6 million shots have been given in Illinois. Yesterday, 112,000 people got the vaccine. The daily average is now 98,000 doses.
Champaign County is getting closer to vaccinating everyone 65 and older. As of today, 72% of seniors have gotten their shots. Public Health Administrator Julie Pride, who you just heard from, says they're teaming up with local partners to reach out to the rest. She says you can help by telling older loved ones to contact her office directly.
If there's a group that is vaccine hesitant for whatever reason, we're happy to talk to them, answer questions, get them to talk with a physician or a healthcare provider, whatever helps to get their questions answered.
To learn more about how to get in touch with Public Health to set up an appointment, you can check out our website, WCIA.com. The rules of in-person learning in Illinois are changing again, this time less strict. WCIA 3's Abigail Metch live in the newsroom tonight. So, Abigail, what is changing?
Paul, I spoke with 3 superintendents today. They told me these looser guidelines will not change the way they're doing in-person learning. They say the rules they're following right now are working, and they don't want to chance it. The Department of Public Health and the State Board of Education say the new measure for social distancing is 3 feet for people who are vaccinated, and daily on-site temperature screenings are no longer required for people to enter the school. One superintendent says while these rules are a relief, his school district plans to keep things the way they are now.
We're going to always continue to do things to keep our students and staff safe. Just as I was telling someone today, is just as fast as these restrictions or guidelines ramped up, they're starting to peel off. But at the same time, as we've always said, we're going to follow the guidelines.
The guidelines also say congestion, nausea, and runny nose will no longer be considered symptoms for COVID-19. The superintendents I talked to today are super optimistic about hosting end-of-year activities for their students, including outdoor graduations. In the newsroom, Abigail Metch, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
A lot of changes. Abigail, thanks for the update. Now, some other rules will remain the same. Those include wearing masks, washing hands, and limiting the number of people inside at one time.
Here's an update for you. A man was found guilty of murdering a mother and daughter in Champaign County. A jury found Jonathan Perry guilty of first-degree murder. His girlfriend, 54-year-old Kimberly Coyne, and her daughter, 24-year-old Blair Coyne, were both found dead in their home in St. Joseph last year. Perry is facing a mandatory life sentence. He's expected back in court for sentencing next month. Someone is delivering hate to people's front yards. This time it happened in Leroy and Mahomet. And this is what it looked like: a plastic bag filled with rocks and a note with a white supremacist message and conspiracy theories. Leroy police posted this on Facebook. They're looking for a white van. Neighbors saw that van pull into their driveway. Someone threw something out of it and they took off. One woman says she's afraid for her safety and her kids.
The kids play together and everything, so to have somebody driving around the neighborhood just tossing these bags with notes and rocks in them, it's very, very scary.
Several people say they have home surveillance video of the van driving through their neighborhood. Leroy police say they'll ticket the driver for littering when they find the person. But tonight at 6, we're going to talk to some neighbors who say it's more than that. They feel targeted because of their race.
People living in Oakwood say they're frustrated because their water bills keep going up while the quality of that water is falling. A few years back, the Village Board of Trustees sold the rights to the water supply to Utilities, Inc. John Pasco tells us before that deal, he was paying around $40 a month for water. Now he's paying around $100. Here's what that water looks like. Cloudy right out of the faucet.
There's not a resident in town that's happy about this. For the quality of water we have, you can't drink it. We have to have a water softener. It's just horrible.
Utilities, Inc. says the increased price is to improve the water's quality. It's proposed a 30% rate increase to remove algae. People in town say they're going to fight it. Outdoor enthusiasts, this one's for you. The Department of Natural Resources has a new online platform for your recreational needs. The website offers what they call a user-friendly licensing and registration platform for fishing, boating, hunting, and snowmobiling, as well as reservations for camping. For more info about where to get started and how to make an account, check out WCIA.com.
It's an exciting time to be an Illini fan. How the orange and blue are getting ready for the start of the Big Ten tournament.
Plus, 2 background check bills get the green light in the House, the changes you could see in the future when you buy a gun.